Constitution.
Yes.
Seems like we're saying, well, nope, with a pen, get rid of the Constitution. With a pen, get rid of
agencies. He says he's rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, all while gaining access to some of our most sensitive data. So you sit on the DOGE.
People seem to be surprised that the first felon that we ever elected to the White House commits crimes, but, you know, or breaks the law.
Right, breaks the law.
But
Welcome, Patriots. And in today's video, we are going to watch the intense interview with the lawyer and representative of the American Congress at DeVille, where she tries to criticize the Trump administration and the Republicans. Now let's get to the point. See what this lawyer said to attack Trump.
absolutely, it's a must in this environment,
That's
though,
right.
Because they will steamroll right over you. And unfortunately, we see that ever since day one, baby, that pen been going and it ain't stopped, and it's steamrolling over all of our rights and our liberties and our freedoms and everything that we thought was the foundation of this country, our Constitution.
Yes.
Seems like we're saying, well, nope, with a pen, get rid of the Constitution. With a pen, get rid of impoundment and other laws that exist.
Do you think that Americans just didn't believe that he would go with that Project 2025?
Remember, there was actually a hearing that we had in oversight, and it was right after he said, oh, I know nothing about that Project 2025. And we had a witness, and I mentioned that his name was mentioned 312 times. In Project 2025. So I was like, this is interesting that he don't know nothing about it, but he's and he's relying on the people that absolutely pulled it together.
Like J.D. Vance.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the deal. I mean, I think that there are those that just said, I want to do something different. And so we know that typically when people are feeling it, especially in the economy, they tend to just go the other way. The problem is that this wasn't the guy to fix anything. This is the guy that is the king of breaking things, as we can see.
Well, Congress.
She attacks the Trump administration, but does not acknowledge that conservative measures are what have been bringing America's strength back. Her rhetoric is loud, but her arguments lack substance. And it's time to expose what the true 2025 project symbolizes with the new Trump administration.
Woman, Elon Musk and DOGE, the team, have been infiltrating and dismantling federal agencies. He says he's rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, all while gaining access to some of our most sensitive data. So you sit on the DOGE subcommittee run by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Are you getting any more clarity on what exactly Elon and DOGE are doing?
Listen, interestingly enough, you know, there was a court filing that came out, or there was the order that came out from Judge Chuckin yesterday, right? And one of the things that the White House and the DOJ is currently saying is that, oh, Elon has no power. Elon isn't doing that.
He's not an employee, and he doesn't head the agency. They say.
He's tech support, I think is what they say.
So who's lying is my question. But somebody lying, right? Because they've been like, oh, Elon is cleaning it up, right? So someone's not telling the truth. And I hope that the lawyers are the ones that are telling the truth, because there is a higher standard when it comes to practicing law. This is why Donald Trump's lawyers tend to lose their law. And that is why the attorney generals really had a hard time meeting that burden for TRO, is because we can't say exactly what he's doing. But the problem is we've never in this country, at least in my lifetime and in most other people's lifetimes, experienced someone who is so ingrained. And so we're going to have to start talking to some of these people that are getting fired. And we're going to have to find out from them, who is it that told you that you were experiencing your last day at work? Talk to us about these little teenagers running around. Was it one of them?
Well, they're doing it through OPM. Because I have friends that work there, and they got the notice, and they got it from the Office of Personnel Management. And so, but DOGE told OPM to do it.
Right, and that's what we've got.
Elon Musk is portrayed as an intruder, but in reality, his innovations promote a more efficient and waste-free government. The truth is that the Democrats' vision is outdated for progressive times, and a difficult choice is necessary. A lynched government or prosperity through conservative efficiency. Watch about this
Also seeing mass firings of federal workers across agencies like the Department of Education, the VA, the CDC, the FAA, even the USDA. In some cases, they've had to unfire critical employees like our nuclear safety specialists, but they didn't have their government email addresses active anymore, so they workers. And how will the scale of this impact everyday workers who are concerned about the price of their eggs?
And nuclear arsenals.
Yeah, so here's the deal. I don't really know what authority they have to do anything.
Yes.
I walked in and I didn't get to read the entire article, but earlier today, it seems like there is someone who was fired that was the head of an agency, and a judge ruled that that firing was illegal. People seem to be surprised that the first felon that we ever elected to the White House commits crimes, but clearly he has no respect for the law whatsoever. And so for the most part, it seems like they've been going after probationary people because probationary employees do not enjoy the same protections.
They lack some protections.
Exactly. And so, you know, it'll be interesting to see where the unions go with some of these lawsuits and how successful they are. But again, ultimately, I think that he's trying to get to his favorite court, the court that we know we all love to hate, the highest court. I think he's trying to get there and hoping to get some cover for all the nonsense. After all, this is the same court that gave him immunity so that he could go out and do some of the illegal things that he's doing.
Do you think they have a limit, though, the court?
You know what? I keep trying to point people to the TikTok decision. Not necessarily because of the subject matter, but more so because basically they said, no, this was signed into law, and in a 9-0 decision, they would not allow him to unilaterally overturn it. So we will see how well they hold up, but we know that this administration keeps threatening judges. If a judge hands down a decision that they don't like, they talk about impeaching that judge and getting rid of that judge, and they won't be able to get rid of these judges because the standard is too high. But he may end up telling some of those Supreme Court justices that are his, it's time for you to go. And they potentially will leave because he did that last time.
Well, I want to ask you about Democrats. You're obviously...
They criticize the layoffs, but fail to truly realize that it's undoubtedly a practice that makes the government leaner and more effective. And the excellent reasoning of our current leaders promises to improve the government as a whole by cutting out everything that is ineffective as a result. And reality is stronger than political delusions. See the truth about the nation next.
Leading next generation voice in the Democratic Party. And while Trump is moving at this breakneck pace, it feels like signing all these EOs, doing these long-ranging press conferences in the Oval Office, Democrats seem to not be getting their footing on what the message and strategy is to push back. We think of the leaders chanting, "We will win" outside of Treasury, which was widely panned. You've talked about Democrats needing a branding overhaul. Are you satisfied with the approach so far, and what do they need to do to kind of get their mojo back?
You know what? I think that just like the rest of the world, we've got a bit of whiplash because for some people, even those that voted for him, they said, well, we've been here before. And we didn't fall apart the last time he was here, so we won't fall apart this time. And so I think that while we had the playbook right there for us, Project 2025, I still think that even some Democrats were like, oh, well, he's just going to do what he did last time. And he's not. World leaders are recognizing that he's not the same. I mean, he's 10 times met. This is the guy that oversaw how many deaths during COVID, right? And now we had Ebola breakout. Now we've got measles breaks. Like this is bird flu because they were some of the other people that got, this is just literally not even partisanship, in my opinion, at this point. This is, and I know earlier y'all was talking about bring back the Bushes. I'm with you, honey. Like, listen, I mean, you know,
that was some sense of normalcy, democratic norms.
And I keep saying
one thing, would you support Democrats shutting down the government as a bargaining chip to push back against the White House?
It's not, we don't have the power to shut the government down.
Well, to refuse to vote for funding bills.
I absolutely support that we should not be voting for this funding bill because this funding bill is going to gut the things that we care about. And I don't believe that we can enter into good faith negotiations with people that literally could care less about their word. We saw what happened with the continuing resolution that kept the government open until March 14th because Elon sent out a tweet that changed the trajectory of negotiations that had taken place with duly elected members of the House, the Senate, as well as the president. Okay. So my concern is this guy has decided that after monies were appropriated to literally turn off the spigot of money just at will because he wanted to do it. Who's to say that if we enter into good faith negotiations and we get some of the things that we feel like are good for the American people, that he won't just do what he wants to do and ignore the stuff he doesn't want to do? So I don't think that we should be voting for this. They have a Trump trifecta. Y'all better figure it out.
In conclusion, while the Democrats truly criticize what needs to be done, Trump is busy shaping a bright future. And you who are there on the other side watching me, what do you think of these new actions by Trump? Leave your comments here. Don't forget to share your opinion. Both you and your opinion are very important to me. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos, and stay updated on the new conservative innovations happening in the country. Thank you all very much. See you in the next video.